Let's get this started. Should we, I guess we're pretty much all in-house, so I don't see anybody that we don't really, I don't think we have any guests other than our guest speakers. So we want to go ahead and we'll go ahead and do some happy bugs.
I forget we do that there.
I know, it's...
Any warm-blooded, there we go. Lion Dwayne.
I'm happy.
That might be mine too if I can't think of something quickly. Hal, were you having your wallet out?
You got change for Henry?
No, but I have $1 I'll loan you.
We'll take that 100
I got a 20. Okay, I owe you how many? Okay. Acting President Sherfield Lions and guest, I'm happy to be here. I'm not so happy my two guests didn't respond who were here last time. And I'm gonna have to leave in a few minutes for another meeting. But I'm glad to see all of you, especially these other Boteros, Stangles, and so forth. Even Tony.
Anybody else want to donate to the cause? Oh, President Carrie Ann.
Okay. Acting President Sharon, from the Lions and guest. $2 happy dollars. What's that? Acting me. Something like that. I did announce this on Tuesday, but Mr. Botero, that happens to be here this evening, and I have a 20-year anniversary that's coming up next week. So I didn't. I keep telling him I really didn't expect him to last this long, but he has lasted 20 years. So there's my. That was worth.
You gave me an idea for $1.
Acting President Sharon, fellow Lions. I'm just happy to be here, I guess. Nothing important.
We're happy to see you, Karen. Any other dollars? I'll dig out one while I'm. Oh, and Lion Vice President.
Ooh.
Acting President Sharon and Lions, happy for the party that we had Friday. It was fun. It was a fun party, and I asked a couple.
And how many Boteros were at that party?
How many who what?
2 Boteros.
Two.
2 and relations. Wasn't there like about 8?
We had a table.
You had a whole table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forget about your grandkids.
Barney said something else.
Vice President Rick, do I see dollars in front of you?
I don't know.
Or are you just stopping somewhere on the way home?
Fellow Lions and guests, here's $1. I got done with 2 hours of wrapping kids' presents.
Wow.
I tried that years ago, and after mangling it so many times, I wasn't allowed to do it anymore. Wait, nod. Lions and guest and acting president and current president. The $1 that I heard from Carrie Ann reminded me, it took my wife about 20 years to train me to be a decent companion. So I think you have hope now.
Thank you.
We have about another 28 years past that.
Everything else will be much easier.
Only I would pay you 5 years.
Not really.
You want $6?
Yeah.
There's 4. What's a little?
President Carrie Ann and acting, we were the meeting night and yes. So Carrie Ann reminded me that on Monday I had my anniversary on 33 years.
Wow.
So yeah.
She must be a saint.
Yeah. 48 hours after hers is our 55th. And as I said on Tuesday, and it was the 57th anniversary of when our mothers got together and said we would never get married and it would never last.
They were right.
President Carrie Ann, fellow Lions and guests. guest. I'm just very thankful for your continued overwhelming giving, generous hearts. The amount that you guys give to the Salvation Army, you never disappoint. And I, out of the deepest part of my heart, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Would you like a report on bell ringing?
Go for it.
Any other happy bucks for you? And who's acting treasurer I can give the money to?
Yeah, go with that. Go to give it to me as I leave? I'll see the treasurer.
Go for it.
Does that mean I get my dollar back?
He's going to Portland. Probably. We put in 32 hours with 28 different plans. And in the course of the things, the buckets that they had us man, we actually manned some extra ones because nobody was there, thanks to Mark. Those buckets brought in $878.32.
Wow.
So,
Nice.
once again, sorry to leave.
Was it because you were singing and dancing?
I think so. I think that makes sense.
I heard that's what kept some awake. No. So I just, briefly going over who we had as our guest speakers for the month at our Tuesday meetings. On December 3rd, we had Tom Chamberlain. On December 10th, we had the LCC basketball coaches. And then on the 17th, we had Tote Maritime, Alaska, and they're a shipper, and they go from Tacoma to Alaska. It was actually very interesting. And then, since our last meeting here, our nightly meeting, we also had our October awards. And Lion of the Month went to Marilyn Patterson. Rookie of the Month went to Keith Stark. And we had several unsung heroes, and they were Cheryl Coast, Cindy Ward, John Searing, and David Hammond. And then we had a special award that was given to Greg Furr. And it was for sponsoring 42 members. And he was 9th overall in the MD19. So congratulations to Greg for that. We're going to go on to our speaker tonight. We have Janus Youth Programs of Cowlitz County. And I will let her tell you a little bit about who they are.
Thank you. Well, hello, my name is Vanessa, and I'm with Janus Youth Programs here in Cowlitz County. I state Cowlitz County because we are actually a broad program. Our admin is based in Portland. So we're the farthest north that Janus Youth actually reaches. Sounds big, but there's only 4 of us for the county. So Janus Youth, we work with at-risk or literally homeless youth. We have a day drop-in center in Kelso on the Longview side, so we're right on the border. And that is where the youth can access our resources for them. Our resources are pretty broad. We've got quite a few things. We do case management for one. What does that look like? It could be going to school. That's one of the first things that we approach in general, like where are you with your schooling and your education, family support. Where are they legally if they're needing some help? We can guide them. We like to use the resources here in town. We definitely use a lot of referrals. We like to utilize what we have around us. We believe in the community, so that is very important to us. Immediate needs there. We have meals, so if you're hungry, it's really hard to get comfortable if you're cold and you're hungry and you're confused. So we try to get those immediate needs met right away. So meals, shower, we have laundry facilities, we have donations room, we call it George's Closet. There's a lot of stuff. The community supports us. So everything we have in that house is donated by the community. By that, we are a nonprofit. So we are a 501(c)(3). So grants support us and the community support us. Case management also can involve with the schools. We work with the schools hand in hand. We will work with the counselors for individual needs, because case management, you can't really put a finger on it. It really looks different case by case. We're like, you have to tailor it to each person. So We have 3 main programs under our umbrella here in Cowlitz County. So we have our youth drop-in center, the Janus House, also known as the Yellow Brick Road. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that saying. We like to associate it because it's your way of finding a house, a home, people to help you. We work from ages 12 to 24, so all of that age has access to that Janus House. Our thinking of that is that, the brain doesn't really fully mature until you hit 25, so we try to act as positive bumper guards on the way, as we try to help them get more secure goals that are reachable and to help them make it reachable. So Janus House 1, 2, we have the outreach program. We exercise with our boots on the ground. We will meet them in the camps, at the schools. If there's no way for them to get to us, we will find a local resource, whether it be a Starbucks, a McDonald's. We will meet with them and work with them. And then our next one is, and it's our new baby. It just, I want to say just under a year, but it's GRIP Housing. Now, our GRIP Housing expert is Georgia. She can't be here tonight, but what I can say about it is that it's a wonderful step up for our case management.
Power on.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Is this good? Okay. Okay, honestly, this is what I'm really used to anyways. I'm holding it here and it kept going further away and I was like, no, back over here. So GRIP Housing is a great step up for our main case management. So we work with the kids, and some of them, and we do have kids that have kids. We have kids that take care of their siblings, their younger siblings. So when they are able to go to school and get a job and secure this income, that's where GRIP Housing comes in. And we can help them secure a home, and there we also continue our case management side by side with them and counsel them, talk to them, and guide them to the proper, know-how. So, how do you pay a bill? How do you even make boxed food? Like, how do you boil? I've never boiled water, Ness. Well, okay. So these are things that we really work with them. We like to call ourselves kind of like now we're called Janus grandmas because we've all been there for so long. So we see the generations, continue, and we just kind of keep associating. We build a really deep rapport with these individuals. So kind of just like a broad, but does anybody have any questions or? Yes.
Do you have a feeling for what your success rate is of being able to move these children into housing and lead stable lives?
My feeling, or as in like?
Well, you probably can't measure that because there's so many different directions. So I'm guessing it's probably your feeling or what your experience from that.
Okay, so I'm going to answer it in a kind of like a broad way and then boil it right back down to that. So when it comes to success rates, for me, now I've been with Janus for 7 years. I've been in the social field here for a lot longer than that, but for Janus, the success is the secure, so housing looks different. Some 12, 13-year-olds, that's the hard one. Under 18, are you a runaway? Are you battling something personally? We do, again, we exercise our local resources here. This is something that we need to work with. And they don't always have ways to have somewhere to stay at night. So my success and the way I see it, and I think I speak for the team, is when we can secure a safe place for them that night and then keep working with them from there on. And I have rarely do I see any of the youth not succeed to a good independent point. Now, they'll falter. My kids falter. But we really are right next to them and working with them in that process. So, yes.
So how tied in with court are you as far as an advocate, or you guys, are you on the same page as the foster care, or who do you partner with?
Well, we do act as advocate, absolutely. We will be there with them at doctor's appointments if they ask to assist them to go to another entity or program that we want to introduce them to. So acting as advocate in that way, absolutely. Meetings over at school, when they don't have anybody to explain and help them out. So as an advocate in that realm, yes. Legality-wise, we leave that for the professionals, but that's where we reach out with our resources. So advocate, yes, we're very close with them. Case management, we try to keep it non-clinical. Where we are based at is actually a house. So when they come in, they see couches, we ask them if they want coffee or water or if they're hungry, and sometimes they take naps. So we try to be as personal as possible, but that's also on them too. Because a lot of the youth that we work with, the adults in their life has made it very hard for them. So sometimes you don't take all the time that you need, while I can still kind of survey and watch and make sure that you're safe in this process. So if it takes them 6 weeks to finally open up and talk to us, that's okay. So we do work close, what's close to them versus what we think as an ambiance of close might look very different. Some of the youth, I've seen youth never open up a present before in their life, and they're in their early 20s. Well, what happened? So that's, to them, that's personal, just being able to open a present.
So this group housing, so you don't call it a group home?
It's not a group home.
Okay, so is it privately funded or is it considered?
So GRIP housing is not an actual shelter. It is us reaching into the resources here, whether it be private landlords, whoever, and trying to get them connected and be able to get their own in place. So GRIP housing is funded by its own grant. So I don't know the specifics of the amount of that grant or how that plays out, but I do know that that's where it all starts from there. So yeah, we do have a shelter though. It is in Vancouver. Janus does have a shelter, but that is for immediate emergencies. And we specialize on that, in that shelter for underage, which is a hard, nut to crack. Happily we have one here in town that developed, but it's not an easy thing to do for underage. Yeah.
Two-tiered question. Do you work with the community house on that? And then if you do the kids have to be 18 in order to move into housing?
So there are ways about it, but the ultimate answer is yes on that one. So 18 and above are the ones that, so we go through coordinated entry, and then from coordinated entry, they can access the GRIP housing program that we have. So yes, 18 and above is how they gain access. However, so if we have a youth who's 19 and has 2 younger siblings who are also a Janus kid, those kids are also housed with their older sibling. So, yeah. And then boiling it back down to case management for the younger kiddos, a lot of times we sit down and kind of figure out what's in the stew and be like, okay, well, when was the last time you talked to that one aunt that you were very safe with 5 years ago? Just things that kids don't, in a trauma setting, format, they don't think of these things. Navigation is primal at times when you're trying to just make ends meet for the day. So, yeah. Yeah.
How do you deal with family members that might be pissed off at you for having your kids?
So, sad truth on this one. A lot of times there are no family members. I would say most of the time our kids are pretty nomadic. And just to be down to the honest truth, a lot of times parents are not involved, don't want to be involved. If the parents show up, now we have across the screen situations. So say a parent decides to get involved in a case, we will talk to them. The kid has to sign an ROI for us to even be open about said case to that individual. We do follow HIPAA and privacy laws 110%. So that's how the Janus house is a youth-led house. So when hours are open, you cannot come in if you're above that age. We cannot tell you, confirm, or deny anything about an individual. It is their hub, and it's a safe place. And that's how we protect our identity as well. So say a parent comes in and wants to get involved, well, I can't tell them right off the bat, but I will communicate with said client about, hey, this is the situation. How do you feel? Are you safe? Is this a safe situation for you? And then we go further with that. We've had to work with the law That's why we have two houses. So we have our drop-in center, and then we have another house, and we call it our admin house. And that's where we'll have the meetings. We've done meetings together to see whether or not where that stepping stone is for them to actually get along. And maybe we could actually move forward with that. We've had quite a few situations in that, for sure. So, yeah. And then the law, of course, that kind of makes it hard for the kiddos. So we bring it over there too, and CPS and foster. Back to a question about foster care. We do work with a lot of foster kids. We try to get them connected. That's one of the first questions that we have for our intake. Have you been involved with the state, including foster? And from there, we also get connected with other foster assistants. And, some of those kids can get free education. Hey, let's get into that. What do you want to be? So, yeah. Any other questions? I also have personal cards here. Sorry. I have personal cards here. If you guys want to get connected, my direct contact and then the yellow cards get connected to our main house, our drop-in center. Oh, and we receive donations. Sorry, it's all coming to me now. We totally accept donations from the community. What kind of donations that looks like? Pretty much anything and everything. We supply hygiene products, especially for the kiddos that, that are learning to be independent and can't afford shampoo and conditioner and soap and all these things that we now know today is becoming very, very expensive. We do food boxes every Thursday for our Janus kids as well, or any kids that are in need that fall on that spectrum of at risk or totally homeless. So.
And your blankets and stuff like that are always...
Oh, yeah, blankets, clothing, jackets. This year, we were trying to connect to, because we don't normally deal with the littles, but when holiday season comes in, all of a sudden there's littles everywhere. So we need to try to connect with that. And this year, we actually got a lot of donated clothes and toys. This Janus Christmas this year, we were able to cover 125 youth. We were able to find sponsors. NORPAC was a huge part of that.
You mentioned donations. What's the most urgent need, particular category of donations that you're looking for?
It does change in time, but right now I would say quick foods. Quick foods. Down to heart, they're still teenagers. They like Hot Pockets. They like the burritos. And if we can get something that is just kind of familiar and hot and warm, they love it. They do. I've made meatloafs and everything, and they love that too, but they'll reach for the Hot Pocket first. Yes.
How many beds do you have?
Beds? It's not a shelter. It's a drop-in center. That's where we do the resources, and we find them their housing, and we connect
So
with
they don't sleep
entities.
in the
No,
house?
no.
So
We,
it's not a-
that would be a wonderful, wonderful thing, but here, Janus, we're pretty small. But again, we do use our other shelters that are in Clark County that reach all the way down to Portland. So we do have shelters. A lot of the youth that are in really in a very dire emergency situation, we can navigate that and get them to a safe place, which hand in hand can go with being homeless on the streets. And so our number one priority is to get them off the street if they are literally walking that cement or couch surfing in a very dangerous way.
So what time do you kick them out at night? And where do they go?
I like to say I have early days and late days as well. Late nights, we don't. We do have a closing time, but that doesn't mean that we're going to leave somebody astray. We don't. And what's interesting is that we normally don't ever have to. We have other programs that help fund motels while we navigate where can they go to find those resources and those connections. So really that's not something that we encounter too much unless the youth themselves are not informing us, and that's actually their reality. So on that note, that's when we try to survey the best that we can to build their trust and see what really is their actual situation. A lot of these kids are trying to survive, and what that includes is generally not the full faith truth right up on the bat with any kind of program. So it has happened, yes, absolutely. But is that the norm, no.
Do you anticipate much referral to like the community houses that's place?
I think so.
Age group, I don't even know if they've got their licensing. Yeah, I think they were having some issues with
I think I heard, so we do the community resource meetings, quite a few meetings actually, like, just like the local resource ideas, excuse me. But that's place now, we have referred a couple of youth and told them about the walkthrough. They've done that. We do utilize community house, but we also utilize, faithful servants. We also utilize ministries. We utilize, there's so many different kind of needs out there, but community house is definitely one that we've worked with, core health. We've, helped navigate a whole bunch of youth that way. So we definitely will work with community house too. But each kid or youth, if I may say, or young adult, they have their preferences. We have been known as to be called, and I've heard the kids call us, they say that we can be the last choice. And that's because sometimes for them to get to that road, they've burnt a lot of bridges. And so we're there, and so we're going to try to help navigate or maybe rebuild those bridges. Sometimes that does involve said entities that we were talking about.
Where do we bring donations if we have some things to give in?
Right to our door.
Okay.
Right to our door. So we open up at 1 o'clock, close at 5. But we leave the early hours open, and that is for donations, drop-offs, other people want to come in, parents that want to walk through and see where their kids are going, they can come in those early hours and meet the team, so that way they can feel more comfortable, because we don't want that to be a barrier. We want them to know where their kids are going, if their kids need some help, and that seems to be like an option. We've had a lot of parents call us and be like, we don't know what to do, my kid's nomadic, he's here for Mondays and Tuesdays, can I bring him over? I want to see, can I come over? Okay, so early hours, yeah, please come on in. We do that for specialized cases, for sure. And then the kids, of course, have access to our cards, but that doesn't mean they don't knock on our door at 10 a.m., 9 a.m., they always do. I'm walking by, I need a sandwich, okay. Get you a sandwich and some fresh sauces and like that.
So if they come in and want to take a nap, where do they do that if you don't do
Any of the couches.
oh,
Any of the couches. So we have accountability. We like to have 2 workers together at all times, and we like to have eyes on the youth at all times. So most of the time when they're so tired, they just want to lay there and pass out or play on their phone. Of course, we navigate the priority, and that is, hey, what's going on here, but if we've been working with them and we know them and we know they're in a safe environment, that they just need to breathe for a minute and communicate with us, but take a nap, take a nap. You want to eat some food before and after, go for it. You want to take a shower, there you go. We have quite a few couches in there. Yes.
So where would you refer a 13-year-old homeless kid at night? Where would that person go?
So most of the time, and so this is kind of like a deeper side of this, a lot of times, I actually can't think of one time where I've actually had someone that young call in the evening and looking for a place to stay.
16.
Okay, 16, now we're talking. So here in Cowlitz County, most of those kids are couch surfing. So I would say, okay, where is it? Is it safe? A lot of times the kids will be like, okay, I'm going to be kicked out. In general, I don't really get those kind of calls. I'm going to lose where I'm at in about 2 days because I can't help the people that are trying to help me, and they can't afford the kids, and now I don't know where to go. That's when I'm like, okay, well, would you be comfortable if I spoke to them, and is it a safe place, right? So confirm all the needs. After that, we talk to them and be like, hey, if we help you with food, would you be able to keep this youth for the next 2 days while we get connected with these other entities? There's so many ways that we go around it with the kids. We really do. Now, we've had some rare cases where they call us and they're like, I have nowhere to go. That's where generally the whole team, we stay late and we figure it out. Whether that looks like, again, an old aunt, or we've actually had to send youth out of state to These are, we look at all options. So, and again, we also have, our shelter in Vancouver, if it really is down to that point. Yeah.
So the kids that, let's say, are lonely,
Mhm.
do you deal with schools also?
Mhm.
So they go to the auxiliary class, basically for the kids that aren't going to graduate or
Some,
need work?
some of them, we will do that. We also will work with what's known as McKinney-Vento. In the schools, we try to work as close as possible with that. Some of the youth, are not involved in school, so we turn around and we go, hey, what do you think about Goodwill and the GED program? What do you think about LCC? What do you want to do? That's one of our main focuses is education. Of course, clearing, make sure it's not a runaway. We have to be transparent with the law. We need to make sure that we're very accurate in the way that we are steering this particular case. And with that, secondly, involves education. That's also, I think, like the fourth question in our intake is the question I think goes, where should they be going to school? Where are they? So, do you finish 9th grade? No? Okay, well, where did you go? Were you comfortable with that? Well, let's go back. So we aim at many resources here in town that help with GEDs and diplomas and Job Corps. Recently, I've been using a lot of Job Corps with some of the youth here, which is a wonderful, wonderful program. So.
I have two questions. So for donations such as clothing, do you want brand new or lightly used?
Lightly
Obviously, you don't want
used. Yeah.
to have it in use.
Right,
But
right.
lightly used is okay with you?
Absolutely.
And then what age group do you see the most, so if somebody was to donate clothes, do you have a need for the, 19 to 20, or the 13, 16, or is it just all over the place?
So to the first question, one, I do ask if there's anything new, please take the tags off. That's one, because people are very, very smooth. And can be, not always, but we just like to cover all ground on that. And then two, lightly used is definitely a good thing to have. We do go through the clothes if there's huge rips, if it's something that's not presentable, we definitely do not give that to the youth. When it comes to, I always say, please no use chonies, fresh ones. But outside of that, we pretty much take anything and everything. As for the clothes, right now, we're looking pretty good with the gentlemen's clothes. For a while there, we were very, very low. A lot of these young men getting jobs, they needed to work boots, the old Carhartt jeans. It doesn't matter if it was carpenter and the jackets. We still will happily take those because there's generally an influx, and we try to get those, kids definitely dressed as soon as possible and, have what they need. We would love to have some jackets. We've been getting a lot more requests for jackets. We do have quite a few, however, weathered, thick ones is not so easy to come by this year, which is interesting because the years before it was, but this year is just not so easy. So I'd say jackets for sure for men's and women. We have a hard time getting kind of sizes that are large and above. That's something that we would definitely receive with full smile. That's the high need right now too.
Jog, a question for me. As far as the clothing, do you work with other agencies that provide clothing? The reason I ask, I'm a regular volunteer at St. Vincent de Paul, which is food and clothing.
Yeah.
And seasonally, it changes a lot in what comes in. But do you ever reach out to other agencies, say, hey, do you have some of this? I know recently we started working with the fish program and found out they have surpluses of stuff that we are paying for. We have surpluses of stuff they're paying for. We could exchange and save both programs a lot of money. There might be something like that in the clothing aspect too with other agencies.
I don't think we've had to luckily get to that point. In general, when we have something that is definitely needed, because we are resourcing Facebook and a few other social medias. I'm horrible with social media, so I don't manage those accounts. But with that, go that far. We do redonate certain things, you know, like if it's like a jacket that says like a certain special symbol or something that like none of the kids are really interested in. Not that they're picky, because they're not, but it's just, we don't want to waste anything. So if it's been there for a long, long time, we'll take it and we'll donate to the Red Hats, Goodwill. We definitely don't put anything to waste by any means, which, again, it's not that much that happens. Yes.
You have a website that you can go on and ask for what sizes are people needing?
As in, like,
Like something that we can go on.
Just Janus have?
so it's Janus Youth Cowlets for Facebook. That is the main one. And you gotta make sure you put Cowlets because you've got admin in Portland and you're gonna reach all the way down that way. But make sure, yeah, Janus House Cowlets, and that's where you can reach us, for sure. I don't know if the is it on there?
It's not on.
It's not on there? Okay, so maybe, you know, actually, I'm really happy we talked about this, because that's something maybe I can bring up to the ladies and get that on here, but, yeah, Janus Youth in Cowlitz County, and that's where you will find a lot of our information and direct contact.
Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you.
And then I see on this thing, you guys, it's got a list of things that they're looking for too.
And that's our last quarterly report. It gives you some ideas of our stats, how many referrals we've done to the local resources here in town, all sorts of stuff. Like, I had to review it right before I got up here. I was like, wait a minute, where are we now? So, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I would like to present you, I didn't know there was going to be two of you, I'm sorry.
I'm just a
But-
volunteer.
She's a volunteer.
Okay,
She's a good volunteer.
This is one of our Longview Pioneer mugs, and so in our appreciation, thank you for coming. Here is one of our mugs.
Thank you.
And there's also applications to join.
Thank you so much.
So,
Oh, awesome. Like that.
well, thank you so
Thank you
much.
very much.
Just a reminder that we will have no meeting on Tuesdays for the next couple weeks. Yeah, so see y'all next year, right? And you know, we've just gotten done with the last couple of events that we have going on for December. I don't think we have any events or anything that we're doing for the next couple of months. So enjoy your hiatus and enjoy the rest so we can get all geared up and get ready to go next spring. So that's pretty much it for tonight. I want to wish everybody a happy holidays and a happy new year. And we'll see you next year.
Wonderful. Wonderful.